posturing also becomes a fundamental thing, which is, look, Hamas has to really, and Hamas, not to get too much into, the
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the world, welcome to the Gridiron Sports Podcast. If you're new to this particular podcast, I am your host, Majestic Sounds. And listen, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Be sure to hit that like button. And then sharing is caring, ladies and gentlemen. Share this content with a friend, a neighbor, a stranger, a family member, even your enemy. Y'all might just become cool after checking us out and listening to Dallas Cowboys talk. That's what we do on here. We talk about the Dallas Cowboys and potential teams that they may face and teams that are on their schedule. Now, back to this embarrassing loss. Shout out to every Cowboy fan out there. It's hard being a fan of America's team because soon as we lose, it seems like the whole world stops and everybody began to point the fingers at us and our team and how garbage we may appear to be. But there is a logical explanation on why we lost. We just got out coached, we got out schemed, and then we got outplayed. Playing football at a professional level is not easy, you guys, and casual fans don't understand that. They don't understand the X's and O's of the game. So the casual hater, should I say, don't understand either. So the S's and O's of the game is the reason why we lost. There is a logical explanation, and there's a couple of names I'm going to call out here excuse me, in a few minutes that will explain to you guys basically what happened. But before I talk about that, now that we've lost, first of all, before I even mention anything else, I do want to say this, that just try to calm down. It's only week 2, but we do have a lot of things we got to straighten out. I said all that to simply say that Mike McCarthy is on a hot seat. Mike Zimmer is going to be on a hot seat because it seems like those guys did not have an answer. Now, they say they was ready for this game, but it most definitely didn't show. It most definitely, look at me, it didn't show. No in-game adjustments, no halftime adjustments, no nothing. There is an answer for this, a logical answer and reason for this defeat. Now, the way they lost is no excuse. I want to make this plain and clear to everybody that's watching this. There ain't no excuse for losing in that fashion. We couldn't move the ball far as in the running game, which I will run off these numbers here shortly. There's just no excuse for the way we lost. I'm going to go ahead and give y'all the logical reason why we lost, not the way we lost, why we lost. Now, the way we lost, there's no excuse. I want to make that clear out in the open. The way we lost was horrible. The way we lost was embarrassing. But there is an explanation for why we lost. Why we lost? Well, the reason why we lost, I want everybody to listen. It's a couple of names I gotta call out. Why we lost. Even while we lost the wild card game, there's a couple of names I gotta call out. Y'all ready? Here it is. The main name is really Mike Shanahan, who's not even in the league anymore. But his philosophy, his scheme, his coaching techniques is still in the league. Now, the head coach of the New Orleans Saints hired this particular guy. If you don't know the head coach name, his name is Dennis Allen. And he hired a guy to be his offensive coordinator. This guy name is Clint Kubiak. Go look him up. Clint Kubiak. The oldest son, those of you who are old enough to know this, his father, he's the oldest son of Gary Kubiak, who was a head coach for a couple of teams. The one that people probably going to remember is the Denver Broncos and the Houston Texans. So he was a head coach, and he learned from Mike Shanahan. He hired his son while he was still, he as in Gary Kubiak hired his son Clint Kubiak when he was still with the Broncos in 2016. And he hired him in as an offensive assistant. So that's when he first stepped into the league. He already been coaching in college. His father hired him as soon as he had opportunity to hire him. Of course, dad was going to hire his son. So he hired him in. He became an offensive assistant, which his job basically is to help the head coach offensively. He also became a quarterback coach. He also became an offensive coordinator for various teams down through the years. And the last team he was with was the San Francisco 49ers with Kyle Shanahan. And he was the passing game specialist. The offensive passing game specialist. And Kyle Shanahan taught Clint a thing or two. And I guarantee you, his father, who learned from Mike Shanahan, taught his father a thing or two. And his father taught him a thing or two. Clint Kubiak just put himself on the map. Just put himself on the map for beating the Dallas Cowboys this past Sunday. Dude is an offensive-minded coach. That's why he's the now offensive coordinator. It was a no-brainer for Dennis Allen to hire him. You can look him up and check out his credentials. Dude, no ball. And I gotta be honest with you, it is bloody hard, extremely hard to beat any coach from the Mike Shanahan tree. The Mike Shanahan tree is real. The reason we lost the wild card game last year against the 49ers, not 49ers, but Green Bay Packers. The year before, we lost in the divisional round against the 49ers. And the year before that, we lost against the 49ers. And we'll forever have a problem with the 49ers because of two names, Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan. They basically run a play-action offense, you guys. They have a certain style and philosophy and scheme. Their overall goal is to run the ball down your throat and then play action off of that with short passes, crossing routes, post routes. They play a chess game with your mind the whole game. And if you can't stop the run and you sell out trying to stop the run, they play off your aggressiveness. If you're overly aggressive, as you've seen in the game, they're going to throw the screen pass. Now, Derek Carr looked like an all-pro. Derek Carr ain't never looked that good. No disrespect to him, but he ain't never looked that good. Never. But, like I told you, Clint Kubiak, he was a quarterback coach. Clint Kubiak, offensive coordinator. Clint Kubiak, all things offensive. All things offensive, ladies and gentlemen. So, he got Derek Carr playing out of this world. And then for us not to look at the Carolina game, They took their first rounder and benched him. Bryce Young has been benched from what I heard. The way they dismantled Carolina, they did the same exact thing to us. The same exact thing. Now that's bad coaching. I don't care how you slice it and dice it. You got out coached, you got out schemed, and then you got outplayed. Because you was out coached to begin with. People say that we were ready for that game. Couldn't have been. The coaching staff say they were ready. Couldn't have been. You know what you up against. You know of this offensive coordinator. You know his father. You know they come from the Mike Shanahan tree. And again, last year, Clint spent time with Kyle Shanahan as the passing game coordinator, specialist. I might add, I looked it up. I did my research. Anytime you come from that Shanahan tree, you're going to be hard to beat. They just hard to beat. The wild card game is a great example. Last year against Green Bay, the head coach of the Green Bay Packers is Matt LaFleur. He come from the Shanahan tree. Sean McVay, he comes from the Shanahan tree. That's why those teams are so hard to beat. They are a play-action team. They are going to run the ball. They are run dominant, and they will dink and dunk you off for play action. They set you up. If you are an aggressive defensive team who's looking for sacks, they're going to play off that. They're going to get you frustrated because you can't stop the run. And we are a team that just can't stop the run. Although Mike Zimmer had us looking good in week 1, in week 2, we couldn't stop the run, nor could we run. Two things you have to be able to do in the professional football league, the National Football League. You have to be able to stop the opposing team's run, and you have to be able to run against said team. And when you can't do that, and you begin to sell out, the screenplay comes. It's coming. And Alvin Kamara, dude is a beast. He dismounted us. He ran all over us. I'm going to read off these numbers to y'all, and you will see what I'm talking about, especially in the run game. So, total yards, New Orleans had 432. Dallas Cowboys had 353, which is not bad. Passing yards, 242 to ours, 285. Not bad. That's not a problem, but here comes the problem. The rushing yards. They had almost 200 rushing yards, man. 190 rushing yards to our only 68. What are we doing? Then Dalvin Cook is still on the practice squad. Then Ezekiel Elliott wasn't in for the first couple of series. What are we doing? Do you want to win? What kind of coaching is this? We need Zeke out there. He still got enough juice in the tank to get the ball downfield. All we need Zeke to do is get us first downs. 3 yards, 4 yards, cool. Let Rico do all the other work. Just have those two in this type of game. We needed those two. That was just bad coaching. No offense to Deuce Vaughn. No offense to any other running back we got. But right now, Rico Dowdle need to be number 1, and Ezekiel Elliott need to be number 2. Rotate them two in. Everybody else, this ain't the game for that. Right now, we need Rico and we need Zeke. And this man, they didn't put Zeke into maybe the 3rd series or something like that. So I most definitely didn't agree with that. And then look at the yardage, 68 yards. whole game. I was listening to Dak's interview, and Dak admitted it that we're having a problem scoring in the red zone. Now, you having a problem scoring in the red zone, and you can't even stop the opposing team from scoring, period. They didn't punt the ball until about the fourth quarter. No punts. They scored 6 consecutive times. Every time New Orleans touched the ball, they scored. They had no answer to Derek Carr in the run game nor the pass game. Derek Carr was doing the 3-step drop and getting that ball out of his hand. Sometimes he wasn't even dropping back. He was just snapping the ball and getting it out of his hands. Quick, fast, in the hair. Those are things that the Shanahan offense teaches you. Get the ball out of your hands quick. Thus, you're frustrating the rush of the pass rush of the opposing team. They're getting frustrated. You can't stop the run, nor you can stop the pass. What can you do? It's hard. You have to play disciplined football. But it's hard when you're going against them Shanahans. Anybody from the Shanahan philosophy, coaching, tutelage, they are going to bring it. And you got to know how to play defense and hang on in there. Make some sure tackles. Don't find yourself out of position. It's up to the coaching staff and the players to be in position to make plays. Derek Carr never did have he had 1 3-9 the whole game. They got first down after first down. They barely saw a third down, and when they saw a third down, it was 3rd and short. But you cannot draw up a blitzing scheme unless it's 3rd and long. So the coaching staff for the New Orleans Saints kept the sticks moving and kept them out of 3rd and long situations all game long. So how can you blitz them? And he getting the ball fast out of his hand. They doing screens, fake jet sweeps, making your eyes look one way and they going a whole nother way. They went doing motions back and forth all game long behind the line of scrimmage. Doing McVay. Coach McVay does the same thing. He does a lot of motion, a lot of stuff behind the line of scrimmage before he hikes the ball. He play with your eyes and your mind and frustrate you. That's what the Mike Shanahan tree does. And they run that ball. When you think you got the middle, the A gap, they're going to run all the way over to the C gap. When you think you got the edges contained on the C gaps, they're going to run it back up the middle again. Or they're going to play action and throw deep over your head. And the 2 safeties going to be left in the dust. Just like what happened to Carolina and to Dallas. The same exact thing. Go back and look at the tape. That's why I don't understand. Why wasn't we prepared? It was all on tape. They just did it. Even Dak brought it up in the post-game interview. They knew what these folks was going to do, but they couldn't stop it. The Shanahan tree. It's real. It is real. But the way we lost was totally embarrassing. And so I have no excuse for that. All I can tell you is why we lost. But the way we lost, there's no excuse. You have to coach your players up. You have to make adjustments during the game. There were no adjustments made, to my understanding, during the game. Now you're playing catch up. But they had their playbooks together. They had their strategy together. And they outplayed us. We got outcoached, out-schemed. And the coaching staff knew what was coming and couldn't prevent it. But it's embarrassing. And we got to hear about it Monday morning. Really all week. The only good thing about this week, we got one good bright spot, and that was Jalen Tolbert. Shout out to Jalen Tolbert catching the deep ball, and Dak fumbled in the red zone, and Jalen Tolbert picked it up, and we were able to get 3 points out of that. But we're not scoring touchdowns. Shout out to Brandon Aubrey. I love our kicker, but we gotta go score touchdowns. You're going against an offensive team who are scoring touchdowns, who has a philosophy and scheme to move the ball down the field and score. They got plays in the playbook, and those plays are scoring. They can score in the red zone. They can score from the 50-yard line. It don't matter. Once they get to the 50 and get over the 50, it's potential 7 points every time. Because now you woe down. The defense is tired. They're tired. You done made them tired mentally. You done made them tired physically. And you done took some of the fight out of them. Because the offense ain't helping out when they don't score. That's what happens. The defense already been manipulated, already been beaten down mentally and physically. But all those, them folks scored 35 points in the first half. If I'm not mistaken. 35 points in the first half. The Shanahan tree is real. I can't say it enough. And I get it. There is no, I'm totally in full agreement with any and every Dallas Cowboy fans for the most part. I'm in agreement. We shouldn't have got blowed out at home. This is the season opener. Come on. And I get it. Put up a fight. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I agree with you all about putting up a fight. But look, you getting out coached, dog. You're not even in position to make plays. I saw people wide open, biting off the play action. When you bite off the play action, the linebacker, when he move up and bite off the play action, all you can do shallow crosses, you can do digs, curls. That whole area is wide open, ladies and gentlemen, behind the linebacker. What else you think a quarterback gonna do? Look, what did Jimmy Garoppolo do with the 49ers? It's the same system. It made Jimmy G look like all pro. Jimmy G went to the Super Bowl off that philosophy, off that offensive scheme. And Jimmy G ain't done nothing since he left the 49ers. Now look at Derek Carr. He looked the same way. No disrespect to Derek Carr. I think he's a decent quarterback. But Derek Carr wasn't doing this before he got with Clint. I'm telling you, that Shanahan tree, those group of coaches who've been taught by any of the Shanahans, Mike or Kyle. Look at the Miami Dolphins. Coach McDaniels come from the Shanahan tree. Sean McVay, as I previously stated, comes from the Shanahan tree. Now, what do we have to do? We as in the Dallas Cowboys, we're going to have to prepare better. We got to stop the run, and we got to be able to run. And I'm looking for Dalvin Cook to learn the playbook, get back in football shape, and get elevated from the practice squad, because we're going to need him Rico Dowdle is cool, but them folks just couldn't get it done Sunday. Ezekiel Elliott, cool, glad you back, my guy, but y'all just couldn't get it done. And again, play calling means everything. Mike McCarthy, Brian Schottenheimer, I need you guys to come up with a better play calling strategy against teams that can score. Don't folks score 14 points so fast. If you went to the restroom and came back, you missed something. That's how fast they were scoring. It reminds me of the Oregon Ducks in college. Don't folks you score so fast, it didn't make any sense. For those of you old enough to remember that. And that's what it reminds me of. A souped up Oregon Duck team that can score real fast in bunches. For them to have it was either 28 or I believe it was 35 out of 16. If I'm not mistaken, 35 to 16 at halftime. Who does that? Who allows a team to score 35 points against them at the half? Don't that remind you of the wild card game against Green Bay? Don't it remind you of that? It reminds me of it because it's that Shanahan tree. That Shanahan tree is real. You better have a scheme and your play calling together when you're playing against a coach who's been taught by either of the Shanahans. You better have I'm gonna say it again, you better have your play calling, your scheme, and your players ready when you're going up against them. They can be beat. You got to play some disciplined football. Your play calling got to be great, and you got to execute on the offensive end. You're going to have to get first downs. You're going to have to be able to score in the red zone, and you got to do more than kick field goals. Kicking field goals against, like I said, a Shanahan type team like Miami. You ain't gonna win beating Miami by field goal. Certain teams in this league, you gotta kick more than field goal. You gotta be able to score in the red zone. You can't come up empty. You can't fumble. You can't throw interceptions against teams like that. It ain't too many teams like Kansas City that can throw an interception and still win the Super Bowl. Shout out to Kansas City, by the way, and shout out to their defensive coordinator, Spagnuolo. That's why they won the Super Bowl. It was really defense. And then when they needed a score, Patrick Mahomes got them a score. Excuse me. But that's the answer. That's my logical answer. You can do the research yourself and learn all the coaches that come from Mike Shanahan's tree. Mike Zimmer and Mike McCarthy both have problems with him. Our coaching staff have major problems with those guys. I mean, they are good coaches. It's the only thing I can say. They're good coaches. Again, they do motions behind the line of scrimmage. They play action. Of course, they run the ball down your throat first so that play action can be more effective. And they use your own aggressiveness against you. And they get you frustrated and get you off your A game. And the rest is history. They are great play callers. And like I said, he brought Clint in, when Dennis brought Clint in, he already knew, hey, this is the guy. He's been a quarterback coach. He's a passing game specialist. And now he's over my whole offense. All I got to do is be concerned about defense, because Dennis Allen is defensive minded. He's been a defensive coordinator before he was a head coach. So that's my spiel, you guys, on what actually happened to us. And I want you all to just take a deep breath, Cowboy Nation, please. Just take a deep breath. But I want to give you an explanation. I know all week long you're going to hear it at work if you got on a hat. I walked in my job and the security like, man, you can just go and throw that hat in the garbage. They didn't fight back. They didn't have any heart. And I'm like, yeah, man, I get it. But when you are out coached, out schemed, you're going to get outplayed. They just simply got outsmarted, out coached, out schemed, outplayed, and it took the fight out of them. You talking about touchdown after touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. And so it's the gift and the curse of being a fan of America's team. The stuff we go through, we can't even go to the gas station when we lose. We can't even go to work when we lose, you know. And I don't care. Listen to me, and I want you to listen to me good. I don't care if we lose. Win, lose or draw, I am a Cowboy for life. DC for life. It don't matter to me. I'm a true fan. I love my team. I never said I was an ESPN specialist, a football specialist, although I did play the sport. I played organized football for a minute, but I'm not an analyst, football analyst. I'm not a reporter. I'm just a fan, a diehard fan. I've been a fan for a long time, more than 10 years, more than 20 years. It's been a while. I ain't gonna tell my age, but it's been a while. And excuse me. I just wanted to I'm gonna wrap this up, but I just wanted to let you guys know so it can ease your mind a little bit. And I just want you all to just take a deep breath and relax. It's only week 2. It's only the second week. They got time to clean this up. They got time to fix the run game. They got time to fix the problems in the red zone. They got time you know, being able to control the flow of the game and keep the ball in your possession. You know, don't take sacks or don't fumble or don't throw interceptions. And he's just going to have to build more of a chemistry with the younger wide receivers. Again, Jalen Brooks and Jalen Tolbert actually looked good. Jalen Brooks did slip at one time and caused that interception. And it was at the worst time. You know, it was at the worst time, to say the least. And Dak fumbling in the red zone was at the worst time, to say the least. And we still had a little more hope, and here come Dak forcing the ball to CeeDee Lamb, throws a pick. So when you look at all of that, that's what happened when you get down by a lot of points. Now you got to force the ball to CD. And then, of course, Jake Ferguson, which is Dak's second target, is injured. So, and Dak admitted that he need to pull the ball down and run a little more. He's still able to move. Some quarterbacks look like statues, but thank God Dak isn't a statue. So he just need to pull the ball down sometime and run. I'm sure Mike McCarthy, Brian Schottenheimer don't mind you running. If they do, so what? We trying to win out here, dog. And these wide receivers, both of the Jalen's, I'm sure they don't mind. I'm sure Brandon Cooks don't mind. Long as we winning, long as we stand in front of the chains, We don't need 3rd and 10, 3rd and 13. We need to stay in front of the chains. We need to move the ball, and we need to score in the red zone. You got to be able to score points against opponents like these. Guys that we're facing, I'm talking about New Orleans and, of course, the Green Bay situation. But week 2, we got Baltimore. A lot of good teams lost this past week, so don't panic. Don't hit the panic button, Cowboy Nation. I know it's the gift and the curse of being America's team, and I know it's the gift and the curse of being a fan of America's team. We can't do anything and go anywhere. The world stops whenever Dallas loses. I get it. And every team we play against, we play on national TV, and they're going to bring their A game. That's just the gift and the curse. But let's put this particular game behind us. Let's move forward to week 3 that's coming up. We got the Baltimore Ravens, who just lost, the Tennessee Titans, who just lost, the Patriots, who just lost, the Ravens just lost, the 49ers just lost. We got a lot of teams that just lost this week. So Ravens, they are up next. Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers, and Derrick Henry are coming to town. And Mike Zimmer and Mike McCarthy are going to have our boys ready because they just lost. They are going to be hungry. They are going to be super hungry, and they're going to be ready to eat. So we're going to have to bring our A game. We're going to have to stop the run. We're going to have to play containment football on the edges. And we're going to have to use Overshawn as a spy here and there. Because Lamar will run up the middle and get him some yardage. So we got to watch out for the RPO all game long. And our linebackers, Overshawn, Kendricks, and our safeties, they're going to have a busy game. They are going to be tested and challenged all game long. So we got to stop the run. The big guys up front got to stop the run. This week we have got to stop a run. It's another run dominant team in week 3 that we got to face. All right, that's my time, Cowboy Nation. I truly thank you all for your time. And like I said, just calm down. Don't give up. Only week 2, y'all. Only week 2. Don't lose heart. We just gotta clean up some stuff. We gotta get better. Cowboy Nation. The coaching staff gotta coach them up. They gotta get the right plays. They gotta call the right plays, also offensively and defensively, for week 3 against the Baltimore Ravens. All right, that's my time. I truly thank you all for your time. Don't forget, subscribe to this channel. Become a part of this community. Share it with your friends. Share it with your neighbor. Share it with your family members, your associate, a stranger, and even your enemy. And maybe y'all might become cool after talking about the Dallas Cowboys. DC for life.